Well, welcome to our 60-minute Vinyasa yoga practice today. Why don't you make your way to your mat if you're not there already? And once you're on your mat, find a seated posture. Any seated posture will do. And then once you're in your seated posture, give yourself just a moment or two. Maybe bring your awareness to your sitting bones and feel your sitting bones as they rest on your mat. And then if it feels good, let your eyes close down. And once your eyes close down, begin to feel into your body. Feel into all the reaches of the body. The fingertips and the hands and the wrists. Feel into your arms and your elbows, the shoulders. Feel into your torso, front and back, and the hips, and the upper part of the legs, both front and back. Then feel into your knees, and the lower legs, down to the ankles, then into the feet, and then the tips of the toes. And then feel into your neck, front and back, and your head, and then the very top of the head. And just pause there for a moment or two and breathe. Take these couple of moments to notice your breath as it flows in and out. Pay attention both to the inhale and to the exhale. And also notice the space between the inhale and the exhale. One more breath. And now let that go. You can let your eyes open now if you like. Bring your hands to your knees, palms facing down. Sit up nice and tall. Draw the navel in a little bit. Let the shoulders come back and down. So don't force it, but just naturally relax the shoulders back and down, finding that beautiful seated posture that I know you're capable of. Let's begin with just gentle movement. Look to the left and then look to the right. And then look to the left. And to the right. I can tell I haven't moved my neck very much this morning. And to the left again, and then to the right. And then bring it back to center. Now right ear towards right shoulder. And then let your head float back up, and left ear towards left shoulder. Keep your gaze level and forward, although you can close your eyes if that feels good. One more time to the left. And then to the right. We're not doing much stretching. Just moving. Inhale, lift the chin up a little bit, and then exhale the chin down towards the chest. And inhale and up, and exhale and down. And one more time, lift the chin. And then exhale and bring it down. And then let your chin level. Your gaze is straight forward. Take a very gentle twist to the right, and a twist to the left. Try and keep your hands on your knees at the same, keep both hands on the knees. And then twisting to the left. Again, we're just playing with mobility of the various bones in the body, the various joints, and back to center. Now reach your arms high, and then circle the arms at the shoulders. You can go around a couple times one way, and then if you like, a couple times back the other. And then bring the arms out to a T. Bend the elbows, touch the fingers to the top of the shoulders, and then straighten the elbows. Do that again. And straighten. And one more time. And straighten. And now gentle fists with the hands. And rotate the hands at the wrists. And then back the other way a few times. Slow it down a little bit so you can really begin to notice what that feels like to rotate the hands at the wrists. And then when you're ready, open the hands and then let your fingers dance a little bit. You can do it fast. You can do it slow. You can do both slow and fast. Maybe slow with one hand and fast with the other. That's really hard to coordinate. Now reach the arms up and overhead. Bring your hands to heart center and press the palms together. Now draw your navel in. Bring your chin to your chest. Let your forehead come down towards the mat, just gently rounding the spine forward. And then inhale and rise up. Let your arms reach up and overhead and bring the hands behind you. Press your palms into the mat. Let me turn to the side to show you what I mean. Palms pressing down, fingers pointing towards the back of the mat, elbows tending towards one another. On an inhale, lift your chin, press your chest up, rounding backwards, and then rise. Now let your arms float high. And then exhale the hands to heart center. We're going to do all that again. Round the spine forward, bringing your forehead down towards the mat. I feel a nice stretch in my low back. Inhale and rise. Maybe you do too. And then reach the arms up and back. Press the palms into the mat again with the fingers pointing towards the back of the room. On an inhale, lift your chin. And then as you exhale, lean forward so you'll feel the weight come off the hands. Let the arms float high. And then exhale the hands to heart center. Now round the spine forward, bringing the forehead again down towards the mat. I don't expect your forehead to touch the mat, but it might. On an inhale, rise back up. And last time, reach up and bring the hands behind you. Press the palms into the mat. Lift the chin. Press your chest up towards the sky. Nice deep back bend now. Now lean forward. Feel that weight come off the hands. Reach the arms up and overhead and then exhale and bring your hands to heart center. Take a deep breath and let it go. Do that again. A big deep breath, breathing in through the nose and open mouth exhale. And one more time like that. Deep breath in and exhale. Let the arms float high. And then bring the arms out to a T. Bring your right hand down. Reach your left hand over so that the left hand is reaching towards the right. And the left sitting bone is still pressing into the mat. So the tendency is to try and lift that left sitting bone up so you can reach more. But then that takes all the stretch out of the left side body. So keep that left sitting bone anchored. On an inhale, rise back up. Engage the core as you rise, and then bring your left hand down. Reach up and over with your right hand. And now stay anchored in the right sitting bone. Stretch it out just a little bit more. And inhale and rise back up. One more time on each side, reaching with the left hand. Feel that stretch in the left side body. Inhale and rise. Now the left hand comes down. This is the last one. And reach with the right hand. Really stretch it out. And then inhale and rise. Once you're back to center, reach your arms up and overhead. Bring the palms together overhead. Straighten the elbows as much as you can. Then interlace your fingers and then invert the palms so you're stretching the palms up towards the sky. Now draw your navel in a little bit and maybe look up towards your palms and stretch up even higher. One more breath. And then release your hands. Bring the hands down in front of you and then come to table pose. So table pose is all fours, hands below the shoulders, and the knees are right below the hips. Draw your navel up just a little bit so you're not dropping your navel down. You're not increasing that lumbar curve like that. So lift the navel up so you have more or less a nice flat back. Now drop your belly. Do what I just told you we weren't doing into cow pose as you inhale. And then exhale to cat pose, pressing your hands into the mat, pressing the middle of the back up towards the sky. Take a moment to press your forehead towards the knees. And then inhale to cow pose. And exhale to cat. And inhale to cow. And exhale to cat. 3 more times through. Inhaling to cow. And exhaling to cat, and inhale to cow, and exhale to cat. This will be the last one. Inhale to cow pose. And then exhale to cat and hold. Now press your hands into the mat, take a couple of breaths, and make an effort to draw your navel up towards the spine, and let your forehead come down. Let your head get a little heavier. And then release back to table pose. Pause in table for a moment And now pick up the left knee, so the left knee is floating above the mat. Keep the left knee bent, and then just kind of make circles with that left leg, or with the knee rather. So you're using the leg to make circles with the knee, if that makes sense. Then go back the other way a few times, and maybe start to allow those circles to get larger and larger, until eventually you lift that left knee up and point it off to the left like that. Your gaze is still down. You don't need to look at the knee to know where it is. And now bring the left knee forward and then press back through the left heel, straightening the left leg. The toes on the left foot are still pointing to the left. Now bend the left knee and bring it forward again, touching the left shoulder if you can, and then press that left heel straight back. Now rotate the toes on the left foot so they point down, then bend the left knee and bring it forward. Touch your chin or your nose or maybe your forehead if you can, and then press straight back through the left heel. Do that a second time. Bend the left knee and bring it forward, touching the nose, the chin, or the forehead, and then press straight back. And one more time. Bend the left knee, bring it forward, and then press straight back through that left heel. Now point the toes on the left foot. Keep your left hand on the mat and reach the right hand forward into table extension pose. Take a deep breath in, and then let the breath go. Do that again. A big deep breath in, and exhale and let it go. And one more time. Breathe in deeply. And as you exhale, bring the hand down and then the knee down. Pause for a moment. Take a breath. Now let's go over to the other side. So bring the weight into the left knee and let the right knee just lift up above the mat, and then just start circling the knee. You can let the circles get larger and larger if you like, and then maybe go back the other way. Let the movement be slow and fluid. There's no reason to rush here. And if you feel some jerkiness in the movement, it's because the muscles aren't warmed up. So slow it down a little bit and become very intentional about the movement. And then when you're ready, pick that right knee up so it points straight to the right, just like we did on the other side. Then bring the right knee forward, touch the shoulder with the knee if you can, or the back of the arm or the elbow, whatever. Press back through that left heel. Toes on that left foot still, or right foot rather, still pointing to the right. And then bend the knee, bring it forward, touch the shoulder with the knee again, and then press straight back. Now rotate the toes so they point down, and then point the toes on that right foot, and now bend the right knee and bring it forward, maybe touching the chin or the nose or the forehead, and then press straight back through that leg, straightening, and then bend and straighten. Now let's do it one more time. Bend and straighten. And now reach the left hand forward into table extension pose. The toes on that right foot can point if you like, or you can press back through the right heel. Either way works. Take a deep breath in, and then let it go. And do that again. A big deep breath in, and let it go. Release the left hand down. Release the right hand down. Now pause for a moment. Bring your knees back so that you have a nice aligned table pose with your knees right under your hips. Now press the hips gently to the right. Keep weight in that left hand. So the tendency here, at least my tendency, is to kind of pick that left hand up a little bit. I want you to counter that by pressing the right hand into the mat even more than you normally would. Now let your hips float back to center and over to the other side. Start to feel that stretch in the outside of that left hip. And then back to center and over to the right. And then back to center and to the left. This will be the last one. Bring it back to center. Now walk your hands forward about 2 inches or so. And then press into the hands and make an effort to press your tailbone towards your heels so that you're creating as much length as possible between your fingertips and your tailbone. Now inhale and rise up. Lift the navel up as you rise. So think about lifting the navel towards the sky, and then glide your hips forward. Again, notice the fluidity in the movement. Now press the hips down, lift your gaze straight forward, elbows are straight. Press the hands into the mat, lift the shoulders up a little bit, press your navel towards the hands, so you're deepening the back bend. And then rise up, lift the navel high, and then press the hands into the mat, lengthening, reaching the tailbone towards the heels. Do that again. Inhale, rising. We're going to do this a total of 3 times. And then glide the hips forward and down. Now gaze is straight forward. Shoulders are over the hands. Now press your navel forward a little. And then lift the navel up, lifting it towards the spine and the sky. And press back that little nice long straight line from the fingertips to the tailbone, and then inhale and rise. This is going to be the last one. Press the hips forward. Lift your gaze maybe a little bit higher than you did before. So you're looking up, you're lifting your chin a bit. And now come out by lifting the navel up back. Now walk your hands back to table pose, and then from there, tuck your toes and let your hips rise into downward facing dog. That may be a little bit of a short downward dog, depending on where your hands were in your table pose. So if you want to, walk your hands forward a little bit. What we're working towards in downward dog is about a 90-degree angle between the upper body and the legs, between the upper body and the lower body. And I can't see mine from the outside, but I think that's about a 90-degree angle. That doesn't mean that your legs need to be straight. If it's creating too much sensation to press the heels to the mat, then bend the knees the way I just did. And then maybe start to straighten the legs a little bit. And that'll bring the heels closer to the mat. And just see how that feels. Just cycle through that a couple of times, trying to keep a nice long spine as you do. Let's do that one more time. And now find stillness in downward facing dog. And then glide forward to plank pose with the shoulders pretty much right over the hands. And then bring your knees to the mat. And then bring your hips back so they're over the knees. That'll bring your hands forward of your shoulders a little bit. And then untuck the toes on both feet. Now, step your left foot forward so it comes between the hands, and then heel toe the left foot over to the left a little bit. On an inhale, rise and reach the arms up and overhead into a low crescent lunge. Our very first low crescent lunge. Now, lengthen through the upper body to begin by reaching up through the wrists. Keep your gaze straight forward, nice and level. And now press your hips towards your left heel, and that's probably going to bring more sensation into the pose. Now, bring the hands down on either side of the left foot, and then tuck the toes and bring the right knee off the mat. With both hands still on the mat, step your left foot back into plank pose. Now, if your hips are up like this, bring them down. So the hips, the shoulders, and the heels are in a straight line. And if your hips are dropped down here, lift them up a little bit. Take another breath. And now lift your hips into downward facing dog. Stretch it out, pressing the heels down towards the mat, pressing the hands into the mat. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Do that again, a big deep breath. And a complete exhale. Now glide forward to plank pose. And then bring the knees back to the mat and bring your hips back over your knees. This is exactly what we did on the other side. Now step the right foot forward so it comes between the hands. Maybe heel toe that right foot over to the right a little bit. Now press into the right foot and rise up. Let your arms float high and now reach up through the wrists, lengthening the upper body. And once you're there, keep that length and then press the hips towards the right heel. Keep your gaze straight forward, so try not to look down or up, just straight forward. One more breath. Good job. Bring the hands down to the mat and step that right knee back so it meets the left knee. Now tuck your toes and lift your hips, and let's find another downward facing dog. Press the heels down towards the mat again, and if you like, you can let your hips sway gently from side to side. Just noticing how that feels. That brings a big stretch into the back of my legs, into the calf muscles. You may feel the same thing, or you may feel something different. in the pose. All our bodies are different, more or less. On an inhale, lift your left leg up, and let's find three-legged dog. Open the hips to the left. Work on stacking that left hip over the right hip. And then level your hips off and step the left foot forward so it comes between the hands. This is the second time we're here. Bring the right knee to the mat and untuck the toes on that right foot and rise to a high crescent lunge again. Now press the hips forward towards that left heel. Kind of forward and down is where we're pressing the hips. Now bring the arms out to a T. With the palms facing forward, keep your gaze straight forward and reach the hands apart from one another. Take a deep breath. And then as you exhale, take a twist to the left and keep pressing the palms away, or the hands away from one another, with the palms reaching to the left or pointing to the left. One more breath here, and then back to center. Let the arms float high, and then bring them down on either side of that left foot. Now step the left foot back to table pose. Actually, the knees step back. Now inhale to cow, and exhale to cat. And do it again. Inhale to cow, and exhale to cat. Now come back to a neutral spine, and then step the right foot forward so it comes between the hands. Second time here, rise to a low crescent lunge. Second side. Reach up high through the wrists, relax the hands, relax the fingers, press the hips towards that right heel. So you're starting to feel that nice stretch at the top of the top of the left leg. Now the arms come out to a T, palms face forward, your gaze is straight forward. Now take your twist to the right, palms face to the right, hands still reaching apart from one another. Press into that right foot, and then back to center. Arms reach high, and then exhale the hands down on either side of that right foot and step the right knee back so it meets the left knee. Inhale to cow pose, and exhale to cat. And one more. Inhale to cow pose, and exhale to cat. And then back to table pose. Nice neutral spine. Tuck your toes, lift your hips. Downward facing dog. Press the heels towards the mat. On an inhale, reach the right leg up and find three-legged dog. First time on our right side. Work on stacking the right hip over the left hip. Take a deep breath. Relax the right foot a little bit, and then level the hips. Now step your right foot forward so it comes between the hands. Bring the left knee to the mat, untuck the toes on the left foot, and rise. Third low crescent lunge on this side. Now bring your hands to heart center. Actually, let's do something different. Bring the hands behind you, interlace the fingers, then straighten your elbows. Bring your gaze so it's straight forward. Now press the knuckles towards the left heel. Feel your shoulder blades come closer together on your back, and very slowly and gently lift your gaze up so you're looking at the sky. Breathe deeply. Hard to talk here. One more breath. Now level your gaze, release your hands, and then bring the hands to heart center. Press the palms together at heart center. Take a breath. As you exhale, take a twist and bring the left elbow to the right knee, joining the palms. The right elbow is reaching high. This is our lunge twist. Or it's actually a prayer twist, isn't it? One more breath. Keep the palms together. Press into the right foot and rise. And then reach the arms high. And then bring the hands down to the mat. Tuck the toes. Bring the left knee off the mat. Step the right foot back to plank pose. Take a breath. On the exhale, bring the knees to the mat. And now Cobra Pose. Chest and chin come down. Inchworming your way into Cobra Pose. And then lifting the heart up off the mat. Can you bring your gaze forward so you're looking straight forward? Now press the pubic bone down. Press the heart forward. And then release. Tuck your toes, push to plank, and then let your hips rise into downward facing dog. Stretch it out in downward dog. And then lift the left leg up and step it forward. Left foot comes between the hands. Bring your right knee to the mat and rise to our third and last low crescent lunge on this side. Press the left knee forward. Press the hips towards the left heel, just like we did on the other side. Now bring the hands behind you. See if you can interlace the fingers in the awkward way, using the non-dominant grip. I almost fell over. So I'm going to heel toe my left foot over to the left a little bit to give me a little bit wider and more stable platform. Now I'm going to lift my gaze so I'm looking straight forward, and then I'm going to start looking up, lifting the chin, pressing the knuckles towards that right heel. One more breath. And then level the gaze, release the hands, bring them to heart center, and take a breath. On the exhale, take your prayer twist, right elbow to left knee, palms joined together, and the left elbow over the palms if you can. 2 more breaths. And one more. You're doing great. Keep the palms together. Press into the left foot as you come back up. Then reach the arms high. We're going to do something different now. Bring the hands down on either side of that left foot. Then tuck the toes and bring the right knee off the mat. And now step the right foot forward into a standing forward fold. First time we've been here, you can let your knees bend a little bit and let your head get a little heavier. Let the top of the head come down closer to the mat. You can take opposite elbows if you like. We're going to be here 5 breaths. Really stretching out the low back, bringing sensation into the back of the legs, into the glutes, stretching those muscles out, letting your head and your elbows get even heavier. So you're really folding forward with the upper body over the lower body. Bring your weight into the front of the feet a little bit. And one more breath. Now bring your arms out to a T with the palms facing down. Keep the weight in the front of the feet until you feel your heels begin to float a little bit above the mat. Keep pressing into the front of the feet and now slowly rise. Nice and slow, maybe 6, 7, even 8 counts coming up. And then once you're all the way up, let your arms float high. And then exhale and bring the hands to heart center. Now 3 breaths. You can let your eyes close down if you like. 2 more breaths. Let the breath slow a little bit. And 1 more breath. Now leave the hands at heart center and hinge at the hips so your spine stays nice and long. Now half lift. You can bring your hands to the top of your knees. That's how we usually do it. With your gaze straight down, your chin in neutral position. What we're working on here is lengthening the spine. Your other option, if you're feeling nice and flexible, is to bring the hands to the mat, press the palms down, and lift the chin a little bit. Now exhale and fold forward. Let your head drop down. The knees can bend a bit. Now step your right foot back into runner's lunge, and the left foot's going to follow it into a plank pose. 3 breaths now in plank, pressing the hands and the fingertips into the mat, so the palms and the fingertips. And 1 more breath. On an exhale, flow through a vinyasa, upward facing dog, and when you're ready, downward facing dog. Stretch it out in downward dog. Now bend your knees and either hop or walk forward so the feet end up eventually between the hands. This pose is called Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Now the arms come out to a T. We've been here before. Press into the front of the feet, so bring your weight forward so the heels float and rise slowly. There's no reason to hurry through this. The slow movement engages the core deeply. Let your arms float high and then look up, bring the palms together, and then exhale and bring your hands to heart center. Take a breath. Now, inhale, let the arms float up and then bring the hands apart from one another, palms facing up. Lift your chin, look up to the sky. Now bring the weight into the front of the feet, bend the knees a little bit, and find the back bend. Now slowly rise from the back bend and fold forward. Come to a half lift. Exhale, let your head drop down. Left foot steps back. Runner's lunge. Right foot steps back to meet it. Plank pose. Vinyasa. Either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. I did a chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Knees are off the mat. Tops of the feet are pressing down. Heart and navel pressing forward. Gaze straight forward. When you're ready, tuck your toes and lift your hips into a downward facing dog. Stretch it out. Now bend the knees and take a hop. The feet are going to end up eventually between the hands. I know you can walk if you want. Now chin on chest and round your spine, drawing the navel up towards the sky as you rise. And then let your arms fold high and bring the hands now to heart center. Take a breath. And let it go. Do that again. A big, deep breath. And let it go. Now bring the weight into the right foot and step the left foot back into Warrior One pose. So in Warrior One, let's just check the alignment. The toes on the right foot point straight forward towards the front of your mat. The right knee is bent. The toes on the left foot point about 35 degrees, maybe 40 degrees. I didn't bring my, what do you call it? Protractor or compass or something, whatever you'd measure angles with. I can't think right now. And so the toes on the left foot are pointing to the left, and I'm pressing the pinky toe side of that left foot in the mat too. That's providing stability. Now my hips are open a little bit to the left. I don't want that. I want my hips to be square to the front of the mat in Warrior One. And now once I have that alignment, my shoulders are square to the front of the mat as well. I reach the arms up and overhead, reaching through the wrists, relaxing the fingers. Now I've found a really nice alignment in my Warrior One pose. Feel sturdy. Feel stable. One more breath. Now bring the hands behind you and interlace the fingers. Press the flesh of the palms together, and then your gaze is straight forward. Now keep the spine nice and long, all the way from the hips through the top of the head, and then hinge at the hip, that right hip, and fold forward. Now you can let your right shoulder come to your right knee, and maybe let your head drop down, and maybe reach your hands up and overhead a little higher. Keep weight in that back foot. One more breath. Now release the hands and bring them down on either side of the right foot and then straighten the right leg. Now pull your right hip back, pull the left hip forward, and then lift your head up so that your spine is about parallel to the mat if you can do that. Now pull the head forward a little bit more and pull that right hip back a bit more. Now if you can, let your forehead come down towards the shin or the knee a little bit, and that's going to create more sensation in the back of the right leg. And then slowly come back up, and then bend the right knee. Bring the hands behind you and reach the knuckles up and overhead, interlacing the fingers again. Let your head drop down. Feel the blood rushing to your head. Now press into the right foot, keep the right knee bent and rise. And then once you're all the way up, pause for a moment and let the shoulder blades come closer together on the back. Now release the hands and let them float back up into Warrior One where we began. Now bring your hands to heart center. What we're going to do is we're going to step to Eagle Pose. We haven't done Eagle Pose in a while in this class. So what we're going to do is bring all the weight into the right foot, and we're going to step the left foot forward, keeping the left foot above the mat, and then bring the left knee on top of the right knee, and then find eagle arms at the same time. So now you know where we're going. Bring the weight into the right foot, and step the left foot up. Keep the left foot above the mat. Now left knee over right knee, and then eagle arms, bringing the left elbow under the right elbow. I'm going to do it like that. And you can keep the big toe on that left foot on the mat if you want to help you with balance. Or you can pick the left toe up. Maybe wrap that left foot behind the right ankle. Now, slowly hinge at the hips. Let your head come down. Keep the spine nice and long. And then inhale and slowly rise up. And then release the eagle arms, reach the arms high. And exhale, bring the left foot down. Standing pose, mountain pose. Hands at heart center, just take a breath. Do that again. Good job. Facing the front of the mat, hinge at the hips and fold forward. Now hands to the mat, and then exhale and let your head drop down. Keep your left foot forward, step your right foot back, a 3/4 step. Now bend the left knee and rise to warrior one on our second side. May want to scoot that left foot over to the left a little bit and find that alignment that we worked on the other side with the shoulders and the hips square to the front of the mat. Now reach up through the wrists. Remember to relax your fingertips a little bit, and then your gaze straight forward, straight towards the front of your space. Chin nice and level. Hands come behind you now. Interlace the fingers in the awkward way. And then straighten the elbows. Re-square your shoulders to the front of the mat. Now hinge at that left hip, keeping your spine long, reaching through the top of the head. Now let your head drop down once your left shoulder comes to your left knee, if it does. And then reach the arms high and breathe. Stay grounded in that back foot, that right foot, particularly the pinky toe. Stay anchored in the pinky toe of that right foot. Now release the hands. Bring them down on either side of the left foot and then straighten the left leg. Now lift your spine up so that it's nice and long and parallel to your mat. Now reach your head forward, pull that left hip back, pull the right hip forward a little bit. And are you feeling sensation in the back of that left leg? Probably. Now if you want, you can let the head come down towards the shin or the knee of that left leg. That'll probably create more sensation for you in the back of the left leg. If it's too much, bend the knee a little bit. Now bend the left knee up to 90 degrees and then rise back to warrior three. Oops, we forgot to interlace the fingers. And rise back up. Square the shoulders to the front of the mat. Gaze is straight forward, nice and level gaze, and then release the hands. We're going to do the same thing we did on the other side. Transfer the hands to heart center, pressing the palms gently together. Now weight in the left foot and pick that right foot up and then bring the right knee over the left knee. Coming to eagle pose on our second side. Now right elbow under left elbow for the arms, and you can let that left big toe rest on the mat. The right big toe can rest on the mat to help you balance. Now hinge at the hips and fold forward. And if you don't need to, you can have that right foot all the way up above the mat. And then inhale and slowly rise. Release the arms and reach them high. And then exhale and bring your hands to heart center. Good job. 3 breaths. 2 more. And 1 more big deep breath, deeper than the last 2. Now, reach the arms up, bend the knees, and let's come to chair pose. Try not to push your butt too much towards the back of your mat. Instead, pull the tailbone down towards the heels. And that'll help you not overly arch that lower part of the spine. Now straighten the legs and swan dive into a forward fold, and then come to a half lift, and then exhale and bring the hands all the way down to the mat. Leave your right foot forward, step the left foot back into a runner's lunge, press back on the left heel, left hand stays on the mat, reach the right hand high into a lunge twist. Reach up through that right wrist, relax the fingers on that right hand. And then bring the right hand down to the inside of the foot and reach the left hand up. Notice I'm still up on the ball of that left foot. Do that if you can. Now spin the left heel to the mat Anchor into the pinky toe of the left foot. Keep your right knee bent at 90 degrees and rise to Warrior Two. Take a breath, settling into Warrior Two, starting to feel that engagement in the quadricep muscles on the right leg. Now reverse warrior. Left hand comes down to the back of that left leg. Right hand reaches up and over, but I'm not leaning back into the pose. My torso is still more or less perpendicular or upright, perpendicular to the mat or upright. Now extended side angle pose. Elbow comes to knee. That right knee is still bent. Reach through that left hand and anchor into the pinky toe of the left foot. Let's find a half bind now. Left hand reaches up. Bring the left hand behind you. Maybe connect that left palm to the right thigh. And then open the left shoulder up and look up towards the sky. If you want to do the full bind on this side, feel free to do that. That would have you bringing that right hand under, connecting it with the left, and then opening that left shoulder up again. Either way is fine. One more breath in the bind or half bind. And then release back to extended side angle pose. Palm on that right hand is pointing up. Now rise to a reverse triangle, straightening the right leg, bringing the left hand down, and reach up and back with your right hand. Press into the right foot. Now the arms come out to a T. Palms face down. Reach the hands apart from one another. Keep the spine nice and long. Reach the right hand forward. Triangle pose. Bring the right hand down either to the mat or to the foot or the ankle or the shin or the knee, wherever you want. You can even just let that right hand dangle if you want. One more breath in triangle pose. Now bend the right knee, rise back to Warrior Two. Bend the right knee a little more if you can. Now bring your hands down, framing that forward foot. Come up onto the ball of the left foot. Step the right foot back, and then flow through a Vinyasa, upward facing dog. Now bring your knees to the mat and rise to kneeling. We're going to add a back bend here. Bring the hands to the low back. We'll start with a baby Cobra Pose. So I'm pressing the heels of my hands right into my waist. And the fingers are pointing down. Pull the elbows a little closer together so you're opening up space in the upper part of the chest. Take a deep breath. Then as you exhale, press the hands into the low back and lift your chin. Keep pressing your chest up towards the sky. Find that nice baby back bend. Or baby Camel Pose. I guess it's a baby back bend too. Now engage your core. Keep pressing the hands into the mat or into the low back as you rise. And then let your arms float high. And then as you exhale, bring your hands down and then tuck your toes and lift your hips. And let's find downward facing dog. Stretch it out. We're going to find 5 breaths here. I'm just going to turn around to face the other side. You stay where you are. I guess you could turn around if you wanted to. One more breath. Now on an inhale, lift the left leg up, press the right heel down, and then step that left foot forward so it comes between the hands. Right hand on the mat, left hand reaches high, lunge twist. Press the right hand down, reach up through that left wrist even a little more, and then bring the left hand down inside the foot, and the right hand reaches high. Now spin the right heel to the mat. Anchor into the pinky toe of the right foot. Notice your right knee's bent about 90 degrees. Press into the right foot and rise, keeping that knee bent. Warrior Two. Right hand drops down. Left hand reaches back. Reverse warrior. Left knee is still bent. Left knee still pointing forward. And now extended side angle pose. Elbow comes to knee, palm facing up usually. Now stretch out the right side body. Breathe. And now the half bind. Right hand comes behind. Palm to thigh, open the right shoulder. Or full bind if you want it. 2 more breaths, stay with it. And 1 more breath. Release the binds back to extended side angle. And then rise to reverse triangle, reaching up and back with the left hand, pressing into the left foot. Now the arms come out to a T and press into the right foot, find triangle pose. So maybe your hand comes to the top of the shin, or maybe down further on the shin or the ankle, or maybe the foot. Reach the right hand high and breathe. Trying to open that right shoulder so the right shoulder is stacked over the left shoulder and the right hand is directly over the right shoulder. One more breath. Awesome work. Bend the right knee, or left knee rather. Rise to warrior two. Now cartwheel the hands down on either side of that left foot. And then Vinyasa, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga into upward facing dog. When you're ready, a downward facing dog. Press the heels down, stretch out that back body just one more time. And then bend your knees, bend them a little more. Now lengthen through the spine, reaching your tailbone up and back, keeping the knees bent. And now either hop or walk until your feet end up eventually between your hands. Let your head get heavy. And then bend the knees and rise to chair pose. Second time in chair. Your gaze is straight forward. Maybe bend the knees a little more. Now bring the arms out in front, palms facing down, and bend your knees some more. Take a deep breath and exhale and bend the knees a little bit more. And again, deep breath in, exhale, bend the knees more. And one more time, deep breath. This time all the way down. And come down to a seat. And once you're seated, bring the soles of your feet together into Cobbler Pose. The spine nice and long here, and bring the shoulders back a bit. So instead of slouching, sit up nice and tall with the chest rising, chest nice and proud, shoulders back, gaze forward, breathe. And one more. Good job. You can bring the knees back together. The hands can help the knees together if you like. Soles of the feet on the mat. Now bring the hands to the back of the legs, just pressing the palms into the back of the legs. My palms are pressing into my calf muscles. Now lean back and then straighten the legs and keep the support. Now lengthen your spine and see if you can find about a 90-degree angle between your upper body and your lower body. It's the same angle, remember, as we had for downward facing dog. Now if you want, release the support and just reach the hands forward, palms facing towards one another. Take a breath. And do one more breath. Now bring the arms out to a T. We're not quite done. Inhale, reach the arms high, palms together. Exhale, arms come down. Inhale and up. Exhale and down. And one more time. Inhale high. Now lift your feet up just another 1/8 of an inch. And then let the heels float to the mat. And then fold forward over the legs in a seated forward fold. Let your forehead come down towards your knees or your shins. 2 more breaths here. And one more. Now chin on chest, round the spine as you rise. And then come back to table pose on hands and knees. And then let your hips drop to your heels in child's or in Virasana, hero pose. And then rise to kneeling. We're going to do a second camel pose. You can do another baby camel if you like, or you can move into the full expression of the pose, letting your hands come down your legs, and then maybe eventually to your heels. And for some of you, you might even be able to bring your hands all the way down to the mat. Hips over the knees. Breathe deeply. We're going to have 3 more breaths. And 2 more. And 1 more. Now slowly rise. And then bring the hands down. Bring the elbows down to the mat and then slide your elbows back towards your knees. Lift your hips up and let the top of your head come to the mat. So you're rounding forward really deeply. Chin near the chest. And slowly rise. Let's come up out of the pose. Then swing the legs around in front. And then once they're there, straighten the right leg. Bend the left knee. Bring the sole of the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. And then press through the right heel. Reach your arms up and overhead. And then exhale and fold forward over the extended right leg. Get a hold of the foot with both hands if you can. If not, maybe the hands come to the ankle or to the shin. Wherever you can. Now let your upper body fold over that right foot or that right leg. Now think about reaching the very top of your head towards the big toe on the right foot. Flattening out the upper body a bit. Now release your hands, reach them forward, press into the right foot and rise. That engages the core. Now the arms come out to a T. Take a spin to the left and bring the left hand down behind you. Press into the left knee and the right foot and lift your hips up off the mat. Stay grounded in that left palm and then reach the right hand high and then let the right hand drop down. Press your hips a little bit higher. Maybe let your head drop down at the same time. Take a breath. And 1 more. Now with control, very slowly, come out of the pose. Let both hips land and then square your shoulders to the right leg and then fold forward over that right leg. Get a hold of whatever you can. Think about reaching the very top of the head towards the big toe on the right foot. And now with chin on chest, round your spine and rise. And let's go to the second side. So sole of the right foot comes to the inside of the left thigh. Press that left heel away. So you're straightening the left leg, engaging all those muscles in the left leg. Reach the arms high. Square the shoulders to the extended left foot and then fold it forward. Now inhale and rise. And now the arms come out to a T. Take your twist to the right. Plant the right hand behind you and lift the hips. Let your head drop down. And then reach with that left hand. Let your head drop down even more. Lift your hips even higher if you like. And then with control, very slowly, come down. Let your right hip land, and then your left. And then swing the shoulders so they're square to the extended left leg. Hinge at the hips. And this is it, folding forward. Reach the top of the head towards the big toe on the left foot. Lengthening the spine. Now chin on chest, rounding the spine to rise. And then bring both legs out and roll all the way down to your back. We're going to do just a very gentle supine twist. Bring the arms out to a T with the palms pressing gently into the mat. Let your knees stay together and then float to the left so your right hip comes up above the mat. And then move your gaze so you're gazing over to the right. Try and relax the back of the shoulders so the back of the shoulders are resting on the mat. Now press the inside of the right knee down so it touches the outside, or the inside rather, of the left knee. And just feel that great twist. One more breath. Now gentle pressure into the left palm to help the knees float back to center. Center your hips on the mat if they've moved off to the side. And then let your knees float to the right. And let your gaze move over to the left. And now if you can, bring the inside of the left knee down so it contacts the inside of the right knee. Lift your left hip up a little bit higher. And now relax the back of that left shoulder. Now a deep breath in, and let it go. And again, a deep breath in. And exhale. And let it go. Let your knees float back to center. Center the hips again if you need to, so the hips are centered on the mat. Reach the feet up to the sky, legs up the wall pose. And you can remain right where you are and legs up the wall, or if you want a little bit more of a forward fold, point your toes just a bit, and then plow pose. Bring the feet down behind you with the toes tucked. Legs straight if you're able. Lift your hips up. One more breath. And then release back to legs up the wall pose. Keep the back of the head on the mat. Hug your knees into your chest, wrapping your arms around your knees. Hug the knees in really tightly. And now keep the knees hugged in, but see if you can pull your tailbone down towards the mat. Now the forehead can come towards the knees and then spine round. And then release the back of the head. Bring the hands down by your side, arms long, palms facing down. Straighten the legs. We've come back to legs up the wall pose. Press your tailbone down. I think most of you can actually pull your tailbone down until it touches the mat. And now point the toes. Try and keep your legs together and straight, so no bend in the knees. You can press gently into the palms. And we're going to deeply engage the abdominal muscles as we very slowly release the heels to the mat. Again, keep your legs straight as you do this. Now notice, and you're going to begin to feel abdominal engagement, I'm thinking, at the very top of the abdomen. And then as your heels come down, and you're required to resist the tug of gravity on your feet more and more, you're going to feel that muscular engagement move down lower in the abdominal muscles, down to the navel, and then even lower. And then eventually that engagement has come all the way down almost to the pubic bone. Feel it in the glutes. And then once your heels land, flip your palms, let your toes flop out, and you guessed it, we've come to Shavasana. And let your eyes close if they're not closed already. Draw a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, let your body flatten out a bit, conforming to the mat. For the next few exhales, try and practice letting go, surrendering on each exhale. Feel your body surrendering even more, flattening out, letting go more and more deeply with each exhale. Now locate your heartbeat in your body. And many people go immediately looking for their heartbeat in their chest, and sometimes you'll find it there. But actually more often, you'll feel the heartbeat in the mouth or the nasal passages or the tips of the toes or fingers. And just go to whatever place in your body allows you to feel the heartbeat most deeply. And once you acquire that sensation of your heart beating, try and keep your awareness there. And if you get distracted, that's okay. Just come back and find that heartbeat again. Now notice where you're feeling the heartbeat. Stay with it. And now let your awareness of your heartbeat expand throughout the rest of your body. So that maybe eventually you can sort of feel the heart beating everywhere in the body. Feel a little pressure of the blood, of the pumping of the blood by the heart in the veins, the arteries, throughout the whole body. So the sensation may be one of a little pressure as the heart pumps, and then a little cessation of the pressure as the heart gets ready for the next pump. Just stay with that sensation of the heart beating throughout the whole body for 2 more breaths. Now let go of your feeling of the heartbeat. And when you're ready, let your knees begin to bend. Once the knees are bent, roll to your side. Once you're on your side, you can let your eyes remain closed down and just pause for a minute. Feel your body at rest in this posture with the knees bent and maybe your head cradled in your arm, resting on your side. Now begin to transition to a seat, again with the eyes gently closed. And once you're seated with your eyes still closed, bring your awareness to your sitting bones and feel the sitting bones resting on the mat. Now bring your hands to heart center and join me in offering loving kindness. May you be happy and well, and may you be safe. May you be peaceful, and may you be at ease. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.